instead of dealing with the domestic issues which are pressing to every Kenyan. The strike that just ended has not only exposed the problems facing the country, but has actually shown a government that is inept, that is unable to govern, that is actually punishing the Kenyan citizens in all the affairs of their lives. And I think, as a party, we'd like to ask a few pertinent questions. What has our party leader, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, to do with what's going on in this country? Yesterday, we saw a cabinet secretary attack the former head of state who ruled this country for 10 years, who ensured that the economy was running well, who ensured that there was peace, and who ensured that every Kenyan felt that this country belonged to him or her. What has he done to be castigated day and night? We are asking this government to let Uhuru Kenyatta be. He gave them a country that was running, that was peaceful, and that was actually a paragon or a powerhouse in East Africa. We have also seen a terrible and frightening issue occurring, dividing Kenyans on ethnic lines, creating very dangerous issues of actually making one community the scapegoat of anything or everything that's happening now. We are saying, as Kenyans and as a party, we will not accept that. They've been there before. It almost destroyed this country, and we cannot let this country be destroyed again. We are calling on all Kenyans of goodwill to stand as one, because each and every Kenyan is suffering today. When it comes to transport problems, when it comes to school problems, when it comes to health problems, all Kenyans are suffering equally. I'm from Rift Valley, and we are suffering as any other Kenyan. It's very important for the Kenyan people to ask a few questions, and I'll go ahead to say or ask those questions. Let us be very clear. The rising cost of fuel in Kenya is not primarily driven by global conflicts such as the Iran situation. Then that narrative is convenient but is misleading. The truth which this government must come clean about is that critical levies, particularly the road maintenance levy, have been securitized. These funds, which were intended to maintain our roads and infrastructure, have instead been used to secure opaque and unexplained loans. Kenyans deserve full disclosure, and we want to know how much has been borrowed, under what terms, and at what cost to the taxpayer. We also want to ask further, why has the World Bank reportedly scaled back lending to Kenya? What does this signal about our fiscal credibility? Is this connected to Kenya's declining credit standing in the global financial markets? These are not abstract concerns. They directly affect the cost of living and the value of our currency, as well as the future of our economy. And we demand the following answers from the UDA government. We demand the immediate and full disclosure on the fuel pricing formula, including all levies and their utilization. We demand for a transparent account of the securitization of the road maintenance levy and all associated borrowing. We also demand the urgent recall of Parliament from recess to address the economic crisis and provide relief measures to Kenyans. We also demand for a comprehensive statement from the government on the rising insecurity across multiple regions of this country. We also demand an end to ethnic mobilization and divisive rhetoric that threaten national cohesion. We also demand the immediate address of the perpetual grabbing of both public and private land by individuals in this government. We also demand that the corruption that has permeated all levels of this government be addressed immediately and all culprits be arrested. We have seen many members of this government who were paupers the other day become billionaires overnight and did not even hide it. Before I give my colleagues, I'd like to send my condolences and that of the party to all the families that have lost their children, the ordinary Kenyans who have lost their lives because of the inept governance of this regime. And I also want to tell them that we are there for them. We will always stand by them. And as a country, we must stand as one and say we do not want this kind of mismanagement of not only our resources, but the lives of our people. Thank you very much. So I'd like to call upon the young man here to say something.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I go by the name of Mukuri Ndungu. I'm the chair of Nairobi Youth League. And first of all, to send my condolences to the young people that we've lost. And it hasn't happened right now. It has been happening since this government entered power, where we've been just losing young people and they think they can just buy other people off. What is your obsession with Uhuru Kenyatta? You guys came in and told us you found empty coffers. You guys came and told us you've repaid the debt. But as we can see, the debt ceiling is still ballooning. What is your obsession with Uhuru Kenyatta? Shamba Taita Taveta inafanya nini na mafuta Iran? What is your obsession with Uhuru Kenyatta? Every time an issue rises up in this country, you're now coming up with excuses that since we gave this person this chance, we should also give him a chance. My friend, 2027, you're going home. We are tired. Nowadays, this government is being run by a playmaker. We are seeing videos in boardrooms, someone saying, someone has tweeted, someone has put this in TikTok. They came and told us they are the brain behind Uhuru Kenyatta. My friend, sijui akili gani hiyo? We can see a 69-year-old person telling a 64-year-old person to retire. Speaker Wetangula, Modhuri, Doinoke. No. We want this to come to an end. We have a purpose, and the purpose is to bring back this country to where it was. And we believe we've done it. And I can assure the young people that this party has the interest of the young people at heart. If you recall, we are the people who called for Dr. Fred to come and vie and be a presidential candidate, not Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is the only person during 2024 who stood with the young people and said, go and get what is yours. Mr. Omar, you're even going to appoint Uhuru Kenyatta is asleep. Mimi 25 na sijai muona. You want to tell me he's the cause of the issues that we are having right now? We want a serious government. Lakini tunajua sio yenye iko sahi. So we are busy coming in together as the young people. Not only to take you home, but to make Kenya great again. Thank you.
Huwa nahitaji makofi mingi. Nahitaji makofi. I think a little bit of what has happened before. 2013, Uhuru went out of his way na akamchukua Ruto kama his running mate. Na Jubilee took a slogan ya kusema tuko pamoja. 2017, again, it was Ruto again running mate wa Uhuru. Jubilee put parties together na tukachukua slogan ya kusema bere pamoja. 2018 Uhuru goes out of his way, gets the late leader Amoro Odinga, and they have a great handshake in the same spirit of twende bele pamoja kama Kenya. But immediately after that, after the 2022 elections, what do we see? An onslaught on Jubilee, an onslaught on Uhuru's family, vita baada ya vita, watu wanatamani nyama ya kodo yake, wengine wanaenda kusema mpaka wanaharibu jina ya Mama Kenyatta. We are out in the streets, tumefaa sufuria, tumeenda Limuru 3, all these things were being done by Kenyans. Sasa mwisho yake ni nini? What we saw 2 days ago, I don't know why this would want to corrupt. In KTN, Kasongo ende. Kasongo kila pale. What we saw in the last 2 days are Kenyans themselves organizing na kusema enough is enough. There was no single political statement that was uttered. Na kuna mwanasiasa tuliona pale akisema lolote. Na instead of the people in power addressing the issues that were being raised by Kenyans, Uhuru. Uhuru. What I think we should be looking forward to is an exit plan kutoka kwa William Samoei Ruto. Kenya, I drove yesterday to Nyeri. I was trying to attend a burial. Watoto nilikuta wameweka mawe pale barabarani, 14, 16 year olds, wanakuita kuja. All they are looking for is 100 shillings, 200 shillings, and they let you pass. One, that is very scary. Why are they not in school? Two, that level of trying to recruit people, kwa sababu hiyo ni serikali ina recruit watoto wetu kwa crimes. You cannot allow that to happen. When you have those kind of young people on, it doesn't scare me because they look like criminals. It worries me as a father or a grandfather of what is happening to our young people. Na baada ya jioni kuangalia, naona Murkomen anasema ati hii magari ilikuwa ya watu wengine. Ati we in the Mount Kenya region, we have been here before. Hakuna mtu ataticha sisi. We want to live together. Mambo ya kustua mtu ya kwamba unafikiria utaenda popote, hakuna pahali tunaenda. Haya ni mambo ambayo hautayaona na sisi tena. Hii ni kujifisha. Na Wakenya wajue tumekuwa hapa before. What is scaring these guys? They have a finance bill that Kenyans must reject. Hiyo finance bill ndio inakuja kuua sisi kabisa. Hawataki tuseme ya kwamba ndege ambayo Ruto ametembelea kule, sijui alikuwa pande gani? Hata sijui hiyo Kenya inasemwa namna gani jina yake. Kule alikuwa a jet that they are paying 5 million shillings an hour. Sasa fanya hesabu kuanzia siku alitoka hapa na siku atarudi ile pesa ambayo imetumika. Those are the issues we want to address. And finally, the joblessness level in this country. Stop hiding. Don't look for things kufuga Wakenya macho. Shida tunajua ziko na Wakenya wanazijua. Wao wenyewe ndio wanasema. Sisi wenyewe ni kupatiana uongozi kwa hayo mambo. Asanteni sana. Meacha hii na Deputy Party Leader Mheshimiwa Fred Okengo Matiang'i.
Thank you very much. I'm certainly not good at this. You know, I have kept hoping that I will see an end to, you know, what I normally call very nonsensical conversations in the public space. We are in a crisis. And then let me be very frank about this. As someone who has had the privilege and the blessing of working in the public sector before and serving our country, I understand government very well. I can read what is going on. I can tell Kenyans very sincerely, we are walking down to a crisis. not just because we have, of course, because we have an incompetent government, but because in addition to that incompetence, they have mismanaged the country and every avenues of engagement in a spectacular and historic manner. So, I would like to urge our leaders, take time now to address the challenges we face, or at least show a sense of understanding and respect for the public by attempting a conversation on the challenges that we face. Not on the kind of garbage that you keep spewing every day and so on and so forth. The challenges we face in this country have nothing to do with a tribe. So you cannot say, huwezi kusema hii shida imeletwa na Wakikuyu, ama hii shida imeletwa na Wakamba, ama imeletwa na kina fulani. Hiyo ni tabia ya mtu ambaye ameshindwa kufanya kazi. Kwa sababu mahali popote utaenda katika taifa letu la Kenya, watu wanaumia na watu wanalia. Kila wakati sisi wengine tunajiuliza, hawa wenzetu viongozi wanaishi wapi? Because there isn't a part of this country I've gone to where you do not meet people suffering, young men and women who have deferred their university learning programs because they cannot raise fees. Kids who cannot go to secondary school because the fees is unaffordable. Levies have been introduced that the government is not even in control of and doesn't even know. These are the challenges we face. Forget about, and we can see, we are not dumb. Tunaweza kuona clearly matamushi haya yanaelekea wapi. This kind of language where it is headed. Kusema eti kwa sababu wakati ule bei ya mafuta ilienda juu wakati Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa rais, mbona hakukuwa na shida? Niko na jibu. Kwa sababu we were responsible leaders, sisi tuliongea na wananchi na tukawaheshimu. Kukiwa na shida na kukiwa na maneno kama hayo, tulikuwa tunaita hata private sector, Kenya Private Sector Alliance, Kenya Association of Manufacturers na wale wengine, tunaketi chini tunazungumza nao. Viongozi wa dini wote wakituitisha, tulikuwa tunafanya kikao nao, tunaongea nao na magavana na wale wengine, because democracy is government by consultation and government by consensus as you go along. Lakini sasa this arrogance that we see here and juvenile hubris that you are witnessing ndio shida. Mimi ya mwisho ningesema ni the worst mistake you can make as a government is to politicize national security issues. Upeleke siasa kwa maneno na masuala ya usalama. Kitu ikitokea useme ni kabila hii ama ni kabila ingine, ni wale wengine, ni sehemu hii. Kasumba kama hii imetuletea shida huko mbeleni. Na tusiende barabara hiyo tafadhali, tutaumiza nchi. Tusiende barabara hiyo. Na yale ambayo yamefanyika jana, ukiangalia mambo ambayo yalifanyika Murang'a jana, mambo ambayo yalikuwa yanafanyika Naivasha, unaona wazi kwamba labda kulikuwa na mpango hapa. But I'm asking the government, if you want to prove us wrong, arrest those who are involved and present them before a court of law, because that is how you prove that you are serious. Lakini kila wakati ni excuses, you know. Maybe somebody should give award this government or record them in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the government that has generated the most excuses to govern. Oh, we inherited empty coffers. Oh, it is Uhuru. Oh, it was Raila and Azimio. Oh, it is who. I mean, it's someone else is to blame, not their own failure to manage the country. Hiyo ndio shida. Tunawaheshimu kama viongozi wetu. Wakati umefika, if they did not see this danger, wakati umefika wa kufanya mjadala. Lakini sisi kama chama cha Jubilee ndio wa kwanza kusema tunajiunga na Wakenya wengine kukataa Finance Bill 2026, reject Finance Bill 2026. Ukiangalia yale ambayo yako kwa hiyo Finance Bill, unashangaa tutaishi wapi na tutaenda wapi. The cost of living is already unbearable for many. Kenyan workers, wafanyakazi wa Kenya saa hii. Sijui kama kuna mfanyakazi Kenya hii ambaye anatarajia ama anatasamia kupata payslip. Maisha ya kufanya kazi nchi sasa imekuwa kama ni utumwa. It's slavery. And Kenyan workers are paying every day over taxation. Na ukweli ni kwamba hii serikali imetoka kwa mpango wa IMF program. Why did they get out of the IMF program? Kwa sababu wamekataa audit. IMF inauliza audit. Na mnajua kwa nini wanakataa audit. Sisi zote tunajua kwa nini wanakataa audit. Because they have refused to accept that audit. They have gotten out of the IMF program. Sasa they are trying to look for money to plug the holes through overtaxation. That is the truth. Tuambiane ukweli na tuambie wananchi ukweli yale ambayo yanafanyika. So whether you bribe leaders of the transport sector for a day or two to get out of the street, Whether you intimidate them or whatever you do, the problem does not go away. And this is the same short-termism, short-sighted way of managing the country that these people have adopted. There's a problem, throw money at it, bribe some people, or alternatively intimidate them or abduct them, or alternatively say ni kabila fulani nataka kuleta shida. You are moving all of us into a crisis and trying to profile one community. Eti, you think it is going to be fashionable? Shida ambayo iko kila mahali Kenya hii. Hata ukienda Garissa, uende wapi, shida ni hiyo kila Mkenya anapitia. Sasa kwanza kuambia wananchi eti ni maneno yanaletwa na kabila moja and so on and so forth, which doesn't make sense. Ya mwisho, there are retired presidents around the world. You know, the level of pettiness that we see from this administration is shocking. You know, some of the things that people say, these guys talk about, they can make a dog cry. The president retired, and that's all. And serikali, unajua, if you cannot manage a retired president, honestly, what can you do? Utafanya nini? You know, managing a retired president is the easiest thing because there is an act that says what that retired president is entitled to. Na mzee amefanya kazi yake, amepumzika, ako pale huko Ichaweri, anaendelea kuangalia mambo ya wajukuu wake. Sasa wewe kazi yako ni kila siku, even at the middle of the night you dream you are having a nightmare. Unaita Uhuru Kenyatta. You are going to call your wife or your girlfriend Uhuru Kenyatta in the middle of the night. Let's be serious, people. I'm telling you, let's be serious, people. Kenya deserves better. We have been independent for the last 63 years. We are respected around the world in the region. We're asking our leaders, we are better than that. Is why in Jubilee we are saying we are better than this. We would like to change this administration because Kenyans deserve better. Deserve better leadership. And what would we do so that I don't concentrate on negatives only? We would introduce transparency and management of the energy sector differently from what you see these days. We will not engage in conflict of interest. We will not lead a government where we ourselves are doing business in the oil sector. Because in doing that, because of conflict of interest, we will not be able to regulate and manage the sector effectively. We will give an opportunity to all Kenyans. We will be transparent about what we do and accountable about public affairs. If we spend money from the petroleum fund levy or the road maintenance levy, we will tell the public what we have done in that kind of way. And even if we don't tell the public for one reason or the other, we have parliament. Parliament is the representative of the people. Elected members of parliament ought to be told and ought to be explained to everything that is happening by government. Sasa, if they don't trust the rest of us, even with the so-called G2G, why don't they take it to parliament? Our representatives are in parliament. I will be very happy and satisfied myself if members of parliament were taken through all this and all this information was given to members of parliament. Sasa hii ukora unaendelea hapa ya kuibia nchi ndio imetuleta mahali tumefika. Na wananchi wakiuliza maswali ni kupiga nduru Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa Uhuru Kenyatta ni chorus to explain everything including your incapacity to deal with things. Finally, the level of insecurity in this country is going out of hand. On this particular one, I am doing because I have an individual and personal responsibility as a former Minister of Interior. The level of insecurity in our country is going out of hand. In rural parts of this country, challenges like livestock theft and so on are on the rise. Homicide cases, cases of rape and the murder of women, femicide is becoming a crisis now in the country. You have noticed in the recent weeks what has happened. Young children raped, killed, and so on and so forth. Please, take charge. You have the law, you have the instruments. Take charge. And as you take charge, come out and engage candidly and listen to the people of Kenya. I respect and I believe everyone should respect our religious leaders. They have almost shouted themselves hoarse addressing this administration, the Conference of Catholic Bishops, the PCA leaders, the NCCK, everyone. Please listen to those men and women of God, and government should listen. But for now, we will all be holding now public engagements ourselves as we go along with our members, discussing Finance Bill 2026. Our honest view is that it should be rejected because of its draconian and punitive taxation measures that will hurt everybody in the country. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, they don't have questions. They are very happy with what we have said and they are satisfied. Yes, sir.
Yes, but from what you said as a former government, senior government representative or senior government officer, do you think before the next election, is there anything the government should do maybe to tap into the wisdom? Because we also talk about dialogue, consultation before next election. Do you think there's anything they can do to tap into whatever you're saying? Secondly, it's not the first time people are dying due to protest. It has happened during the time of the CS for Nigeria. Do you think there's something that can be done maybe so that people can just protest peacefully without
Bear in mind, I'll start with the second question. Bear in mind, I was the Minister for Interior when former Prime Minister Raila Odinga went to Uhuru Park to swear himself in. Not a single bullet was shot that day. Not a single Mwananchi was injured. Against the advice and the pressure by even some of the people in power today that we should behave otherwise. President Kenyatta refused. I refused as the Minister for Interior, and we didn't have a problem. Responsible policing is something that this country has invested in very heavily. I mean, we have, some of you may not know, we have a security compact with several countries. Security compact is mainly a training and support program with several governments that support our security sector in terms of training, riot control, crowd management, and so on and so forth. Responsible policing is something that we have worked on since almost independence. Even before I became Minister for Interior myself, this has been going on. And there is also regulations called standing orders on how police are supposed to conduct their affairs. In most cases, to be honest with you, for the entire time I was there, and I've noticed the police try the best they can to respect those standing orders. The difference, I think, here is, as I said, the politicization of the security responsibilities. Somebody somewhere in this whole arrangement is supporting the deployment of goons and criminals side by side with what the police are doing. And in that process, people get injured. In some cases where the police may be blamed, it's probably these goons and these thugs, some of them supported by leaders, others who brag very openly and so on and so forth. So that's why I've said several times, and I would like to say again, I know most of our leaders in the security sector. Many of them are actually serious people. They are honest, serious people. They are good officers. They need to be allowed, they need to be given an opportunity to do their work without undue political pressure. When you hear these kind of political statements that are being made, irresponsible, reckless political statements being made, they are meant to intimidate and sometimes push the security sector in a particular direction. If the police were left to act objectively, their leaders were given the way they need to act, some of the issues we are dealing with will not happen. But when mistakes happen and when challenges happen, such as people die and force is used disproportionately, the law is very clear. Investigations ought to be done. Those who are involved are brought to book because we are a rule of law country. There are our officers who were involved when I was minister myself in some cases. In some other cases, investigations have been done and the process of prosecution is going on. In some cases, even punishment has already happened. We have no security anywhere else except in the law. All of us, because you see, we can't all be ministers, we can't all be police officers. Today it's me, tomorrow it's you. We are all equal before the law and we will be protected by the law. We say, let's follow the law. That's what we're asking our colleagues to do. As for whether or not there's any wisdom I have, the wisdom I have is to ask them to leave. Because the level of damage they have done to the country is irredeemable and more painful, especially because I know and I understand the capacity of our country. I know what my country can do. I know what the people in this country can do. I've worked with so many public servants. I know what some of these senior public servants can do in an environment where they are given proper political support and there is will to do good. But right now, I have never seen, for the time that I have been paying attention, I never knew a time when there was such resentment even within the security sector teams themselves. And how do we know, ordinary citizens? Because now they are talking about it. Even politicization of deployment. People are lined up, in X number of commands in Nairobi. X number of them are placed in one ethnic community and so on, which you can tell clearly the reasons why it's being done. So they are not happy themselves. We are not happy. And that's why we think The best they could do to this country is to do a decent thing, and they know what the decent thing is. Yes, sir.
You say that they should listen to the leaders, but more often you see when the leaders speak, there's a certain misperception of the leaders leaders. Say yes, so also listen to the leaders because it's a trend on our country to divide and rule. Suddenly, certain leaders advises people needs another certain leaders. Says more leaders, and in fact, in most cases, we have seen even some religious leaders being told you did not came out to say this was the rule was in the government. So there's also blame them, even to the same religious leaders and divide and rule. So what's your message to the religious leaders so that we have a country where religious leaders can be speaking one voice?
Listen to Kenyans, whether they are religious leaders, academics, civil society leaders, Mama Mboga group leaders. Listen to the people of Kenya. That's all we are saying. And when you listen to them, we are a democracy. People have a right to express themselves how they please. But when people ask questions again and again of our government, it's only logical that that government at least pays attention to the questions and the issues that are being asked and avoids deflection, deflecting or trying to take away the attention from the issues to irrelevant tribal issues and dragging in the retired president and his family in cases where, honestly speaking, he is absolutely innocent. Final one, because we said 3.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Just two from me. First of all, your take as a party regarding where the strike, the fuel strike that was called off, but actually was suspended for 7 days by a section of the Transport Sector Alliance, the way they call themselves. Do you think they represented the cause for many Kenyans who, are suffering and looking up to them? That is my first question. And then the second question would be in regards to the demands you have heard as a party if they are not met in terms of disclosure of the fuel pricing formula and also more explanation regarding the alleged securitization of the fuel levy. If these demands are not met, what will be your next action?
Well, first, when we make these demands as a party or when we ask these questions as a party, we also know that we are members in Parliament and members in the Senate. We'll do the best we can. We are a rule of law party, first of all. We truly believe that we should act and transact strictly according to the rule of law. So when we make these demands and ask questions about these disclosures, it is because we intend that is the way public debate should go on these issues, and it's upon government to decide whether they are going to be responsible enough and accede to these demands or raise these issues, because we're asking very basically for accountability. It's very basic accountability. I would not think twice about these issues because they're straightforward matters, and we'll continue ventilating through the institutions that exist. We also I don't believe, and we don't think it's the right thing to operate the way you want to propose. We make these demands or else, and so on. We are a democracy. We have a point at which we are going to act, and that is at the ballot. We are asking these accountability questions on and on again, and we hope the government will be accountable enough and do what needs to be done. On the question of the strike, we supported the strike, and that's why we even rescheduled a meeting we had in Kiambu. Our party leader decided, let's stand with all Kenyans on this matter. We support any action that presses the government to do the right thing, and the strike was action by the public to press the government to act responsibly on the issue of pricing of fuel. Now, the leaders of the transport sector said they gave them 7 days. We wait and see. But for us and through the members of parliament we are going to continue communicating that a lot needs to be done. Maybe the funds in that petroleum development levy fund should be availed to the market to stabilize the situation and reduce the pressure on the ordinary consumers. But there isn't much there anyway, to be honest with you. That's why I said the other day, I think we are in a crisis. There isn't much money there. Even if whatever is there was put out, it will not cushion us for long. And this is as a result of the decisions we have made. We may be having a crisis in the Middle East right now, but largely the current situation is as a result of long-term corrupt actions that we have taken, and they are going to bite us. So even if they went that direction, I don't think they will be able to cushion us for long. So the actual solution is to address the corruption, the conflict of interest, and what has finally brought us to this point. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Yeah, this good man is going to, they will speak in another language for another audience, together with Angel in Buddha.
Thank you. I want you to address this in Gikuyu. Perhaps if you can, those who are not, we'll have two languages, the Ekegusi, led by the chairman, and then the Kikuyu to close the conference today. So I propose we begin with the chairman, so that he can speak to Abagusi people.
Do we have Ekegusi here? Yes. No, we don't have.
Oh, okay. Kikuyu. Watu ya mulima, okay. Asanteni sana. Gwethaga kuga tugucemanitie muthenya wa umuthi ta kiama kia Jubilee Party gitongoretio ni muruiriri wa gite president Fred Okengo Matiang'i muthenya wa umuthi. Twina maundu meri peke yake. No tutana moiga wa mbere no twende gucakaya na family iria ciratigirwo ni Edward ao aria maroragirwo barabara muthenya wa ira na muthenya wa ira largely Monday na Tuesday. Kuri andu mararathirwo ni borithi na ni kuri andu marahurirwo ni mikora ironeka ta iraruta wira na borithi na marakua. Family iria citigitwo ni Edward ao kiama kia Jubilee kiria gitongoragio ni Uhuru wa Kenyatta no kiende gucakaya ni inyuo muno. Wa keri no twende kuga mundu wothe uroire ndotono, mundu wothe uroire miti arahura biashara ciene. Kiama kia Jubilee no kiende gwitigithania na mikora ya muthemba ucio na tuhoe thirikari inyite mundu wothe urathukangirie indo ciene ira, kana ni gucina ngari, kana ni kuhura nduka, kana ni kugutha ibeti cia tumia, kana ni gutengeria andu makimahuraga. Mikora yo yothe thirikari yonanie wendi wayo hari uigiririki wa security niguo manyite miitu iyo indo cia andu cirangagirwo. Wira munene wa thirikari kana muthamaki akinywa muma anyuaga ni undu wa kurangira mioyo na indo. Mioyo ni rorire na indo ni irorire. Koguo ta kiama kia Jubilee turetia uhoro wa kunyitwo na ihenya muno kwa mikora iyo. Na andu aria marathukiria indo ciao ta supermarket ikuria gwitu andu metagwo Maguna na andu aria angi othe Nyeri na Kukunge na Ikuru na Ivasha macokerio indo ciao, indo cia aria angi cicokagio cigicokio. Uguo ni tukwendaga kuuga guta kiama kia Jubilee. Wa keri tugucemanĩtie haha tondu Uhuru wa Kenyatta ni atuikite ngunia ya kuhuragwo ni mundu wothe waigua tagandite maguru. Nitukwenda kurugama na murugamo umwe ta kiama kiria atongoragia gukuma minister wa ugitiri wa thiini na kunyararithia miario ya mwandiki munene wa kiama kia UDA Hassan Omar. Tumere miario muraririe ti miario migima, miario muraririe ni miario itari na kiene na ni kurira murorira wira uria uri wanyu o to uria kwiragwo nyaga ire yonire githaka gikihia na handu ha kura kana ihorie mwaki yaumbikire kiongo kiayo muthanga-ini. Iyo yari nyaga ngigu muno, ndagika 5-10 cigithira yahite na igatuika nyama yahihio kuri hiti cia githaka. Thina uria wina bururi wa Kenya ndagika ino makiria muno uria urehetwo ni tondu wa wagi wa wira wa andu aria nini. Thina uria wina guo Kenya ino ni tondu urehetwo makiria muno ni undu wa feturu kuhaica maguta na dithru. Maundu mau mothe ni maundu mangiariririo, maundu mau mothe ni maundu mangikwo undu mathire no handu ha gwika uria kwagiriire. Thirikari irugamirirwo ni Murkomen mena Hassan Omar na andu aria angi othe monete undu uria muhuthu muno ni kuruma Uhuru wa Kenyatta, undu uria muhuthu muno matongoretio ni Speaker wa National Assembly na muthuri tocio aroconoka muno tondu ndagie gukorwo ena uge we ni mundu wa kuhakikisha bunge ni irathie na mbere kuona ati Kenyatta na family yake nä o thä na wa bå rå ri å yå å cio nä å rimå må ingä må no na nä kwaga å igä rä rä ki na njä ra yagä rä ire tå ngä enda kå rå gama na Uhuru wa Kenyatta na bamĩrĩ yake tå ngä enda kå rå gama nake ta må thamaki wa nathana bå rå ri å yå na nä ngoretwo ngiuga må tigage gwä ciria Uhuru ndarä andå ao må tigage gwä ciria Uhuru ndarä andå ake må tigage gwä ciria Uhuru ndarä kwao inyuä må tuä te Uhuru nä ikonia rä a kå hå raga na gå ikaikagia o må ndå ethwa nä Uhuru o må ndå arä o nä nda nä Uhuru o må ndå arä o nä magego nä Uhuru o må ndå aremwo nä gå thiä kå rä a gå thiaga make marema nä Uhuru nä twamå kania na tondå må ndå akanagio aga kå igua akona nganga mbute tå tikwenda kå igua Uhuru Kenyatta akä gwetanio na thä na å rä a wä gå kå bå rå ri-inä kwambä rä ria å må thä no o ngå korwo no mwende kå må gweta thiä ibunge Mohamed Constitution atä må ndå no athiä makä ria ma tamu igä rä hä ndä ä yo Uhuru nä egå coka arå game atwarithie wä ra å rä a warä ho wakorwo nä må renda Uhuru atire gä gwetwo thondekai gatiba acoke arå game rä ngä tå må thure akenya mamå nyoteire ta maä werå-inä tå må cokerie thamaki okorwo nä må renda gå tinde må kä må gwetaga okorwo gå tingä hotekeka rutai Uhuru kanua-inä kanyu eheriai Uhuru meciria-inä manyu rekei må thuri mwega ahurå ke na tå cåcå na tå cåkå rå na tå guka twake magä thaka mbirigå ri kana mitengeranio tiganai nake rekei arute wä ra å rä a å rä wake arutire wä ra wake akä neana bå rå ri å yå na rå hiå rwa å thamaki na thayå na må thenya wa kå neana rå hiå rwa thamaki arumirwo ta mwana agä cinä rwo mbere ya thä yothe må thuri mwega hakuhä ite maithori na rä rä a arä kia wä ra wake na athiä no må ramuma thutha maya ngai mume thutha rä ngä inyuä å guo nä guo ngå mwä ra må mume thutha rä ngä nä må gå tå kora irima rä u må ramå thogotha wa kerä na nä guo wa må ico no twende kå ria thirikari ä no ä å rie nä kä kä ratå ma Ethiopia na nä bå rå ri å tarä na iria a landlocked country å rendia maguta 180 na ithuä tå rendia 200 ma 40 Ethiopia nä bå rå ri landlocked maguta ma Ethiopia mangä mageraga gå kå mangä makagera iria itune marĩa mangĩ makagera Indian Ocean magerete bũrũri wa Somaliland rĩu rĩ bũrũri ũcio ũrendia maguta raithi gũkĩra witũ nĩkĩ Uganda maguta mena raithi gũkĩra Kenya Tanzania taguo Burundi na DRC maguta mena raithi ũrĩa tũngĩreyũria ũmũthĩ tũtagũtinda tũkĩũrania ciũria cia kũrumana na gũcinũrana nĩkĩ kĩratũma maguta magĩe Kenya goro wa kerĩ wa mbere makĩria mũno nĩ tondũ maguta mararehwo bũrũri ũyũ nĩ kambuni cia mĩitũ ĩno yetagwo G2G G ya mwena witũ nĩ kambuni cia mĩitũ eheriai mĩitũ ĩyo mũrehe maguta marehetwo nĩ arĩa mangĩendia maguta na profit wa kerĩ thiĩ ibunge eheriai magoti marĩa matarĩ ma bata mũcoke mũhĩtũkie emergency kit ĩtagwo subsidy fund ya gũkucon Kenya mĩeri 5 bilioni 100 cikio mĩeri 5 twendagĩrie maguta 150 160 na twathiĩ mũno mũgĩtwenderia 170 tũkũgũra tũrute wĩra tigai kũherithia mũingĩ thirikari iguai makaya mao na mũtige gwetha gwa kũũrĩra gũtirĩ kũndũ mũngĩũrĩra nĩ mwathurirwo na tondũ Ngai nĩ amũteithĩtie mũtigĩtie mĩeri 13 mũ replace nĩ Matiang'i na ithuĩ mĩeri 3 umai na thayũ nĩguo tũtikana mume thutha ĩno 13 thondekai maũndũ rekei andũ marĩa na manyue rekei ũgitĩri ũkorwo ho rekei ng'ombe citige kũiywo rekei barabara cigĩe na ũgitĩri na rekei ciana ithome gĩthomo kĩhũthe mũira mũinũke tondũ kũinũka nĩ mũkũinũka no mũkainũka atĩa tũngĩenda mũkainũka na thayũ tũtikanathiranĩre na inyuĩ tũnengere bũrũri ũyũ mũndũ ũrĩa ũngĩũhota wĩtagwo Fred Okengo Matiang'i na kĩama kĩrĩa gĩgũkorwo gĩgĩathana gĩkorwo gĩ kĩama kĩa Jubilee Party asanteni sana mũthuri agweta kaũndũ nĩ MCA wa Uhuru wa Kenyatta kũrĩa Ng'enda Ward Icaweri
Thank you muno Deputy Secretary General ngwendaga kuga mũgĩkũyũ augire gũtirĩ kĩndũ kĩega kiumaga hega atongoria aya aikero cia igũrũ cia thirikari ĩno reke mekarange na maguta mao tondũ nĩ ũndũ wa kĩeha mũno atĩ wonereria mũtongoria kamera ta ĩno no kara kuoya ambĩrĩrie kwaria ũhoro wa mũgathĩ Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta ũhoro ũrĩa tũrakoretwo nao wa andũ kũgoma nĩ ũhoro wĩgiĩ maguta na nĩ moĩ o nĩo marengaga maguta na kĩndũ gĩtagwo road maintenance levy fund mbeca icio ciagĩrĩirwo gũkorwo ciũka county government tũthondeke bara citũ cia kũingĩra kũrĩa matũũra-inĩ kuma tũke mbunge ithuĩ amwe aitũ tuonete mbeca icio o rita rĩmwe igũrũ wa guku ha Kiambu no igana milioni 1 tuonete peke yake. Twathi kuria gicagi turorio bara tugathondeka ri riu ni igutha rinene muno he mundu wa kawaida. Ni matie utuhenia to ni twi mbeca icio na mongerera mathia kurutithia mbeca icio wira ungi. Undu wa keri, mbeca cia thibitari ni mararega kuhe thibitari citu ici cia SHA. Macikarire matirenda kuria thibitari citu. Riu mundu ahota kuumira gicagi to bara ni githukire mabatienda utuhe mbeca tuthondeke bara. Akinya thibitari gutire na dawa to ni moi ni maregete na mbeca icio. O uguo twauga haha tutige kuona ati mutongoria wa gikero kia iguru muno okira rucini no kwaria cia Uhuru, waine no Uhuru, akoma kiroto no Uhuru. Reke marote no ni maramenya kaida kao ndigokite. Ithuĩ tutikorota horo wa thirikari tondu warota horo wa thirikari ino no haguke no kwe. Asanteni sana.
Asanteni sana.
It was a short notice, and to really appreciate. We have a problem, and the chief executive of the country flies out instead of dealing with the domestic issues which are pressing to every Kenyan. The strike that just ended has not only exposed the problems facing the country, but has actually shown a government that is inept, that is unable to govern, that is actually punishing the Kenyan citizens in all the spheres of their lives. And I think, as a party,